revert so that you can get a full benefit of the discussion. Last week, we went further with the subject matter of the challenge of who the minister or the pastor speaks to in terms of personal challenges. And we got to the point last week of looking at the issue of burnout, knowing when to seek help, and then who to talk to, and the matter of confidentiality. Being careful who you speak to, as human as we are, even though the intent perfectly is for us to connect with our source, our God, for that circle, our human nature sometimes makes us fall below that connection line. And there are also some things that you definitely need to have some collaboration with some of your elders in the church. And from the submission that we got from one of our mummies last week, it clearly shows that there are some of our elders, or we the elders, who have disappointed our congregation by letting out too many things from our mouths in terms of gossip and so forth. And that was the lamentation that we left off last week, with Rajasha shouting out, tell them that our elders should, check what we speak outside. So today we will take that dive a bit further. The issue is confidentiality. And there was a question of, if you have a threat, should you call the police? That also came up last week, and we'll take a quick look at that again and continue in the discussion therefrom. So, to make a consistency of thought for our English listeners, let me take this through a little bit in English, and then I will switch over to the local language. The point is that confidentiality is very important in a pastoral counselor, and is a key factor. And if people get problem with that confidentiality, then you are going to have problems in your ministry. Counselees have a right to expect that their conversations are confidential. They are trusting in you, and you are accountable to holding that confidence. If a counselor cannot hold confidentiality, people will shy away from you. They will not want to confide in you, and a valuable opportunity to provide counsel and spiritual assistance will be lost. Even the fact that you are counseling someone, and the topic of counseling should be confidential unless the counselee wishes to share those facts. It is their call. The very future of your ministry depends upon you being able to hold a confidence. So it is very serious. And this is where I would say, as pastors, I see the great challenge we will have there vis-a-vis when certain things come up that require interaction with our elders, and how our elders handle the information that is put before them. At the end of the day, you, the minister, you are held accountable for whatever goes on, irrespective of the fact that your elder down below might have gone to cause some mess. That mess would have been caused upon your head. And that is where I find a big woe in the life of pastors, who at times may necessarily have to interact with elders or the church to handle certain issues in the church. When these elders cannot shut up and go spilling out the beans unnecessarily, then you are going to be in trouble. This is not a matter of somebody coming to for counseling and you are going to gossip about it, but it's something that comes up that requires interaction with your or support of your elders to handle in that confidence. And when they let you down, it is upon your head as a pastor. Nobody is going to hold the elder. But we see that Paul, in his letter to Titus, makes some provision for care and caution. And our mom asked last week whether the people who are picked up into pastoral or eldership positions, whether they are not vetted. And Paul makes a provision for that in the book of Titus, chapter 1. And we will take a look at that shortly. Now, there was a question of a case whether if somebody threatens you, whether you should pray over it or go to the police. And we said the civil society is ruled by laws, and once the law has made provisions for taking care of threats, you need to make the law, bring the law into focus in dealing with those matters. Don't say because you are spiritual, somebody has come to threaten you, and so you are going to go to your altar and fire the person. Yes, there are cases where you may say that probably following what you call a due process in terms of having to meet the person one-on-one to interact or calling people to meet to discuss the issues may cause trouble. You are not sure what will happen then. Yes, still, before God, you don't take the law into your own hand, but then you can make a call to the Lord Christ to invite the person and yourself before the host of heaven for a redress of the matter. I'm not saying you should go and pray that the person should die. That is not what I said. I'm saying you are calling the person and yourself in your solar awareness before God or the karmic board for the resolution of the matter at stake. There at that level, divine will prevail, and in your soul awareness, the matter will be dealt with, and by grace in the right time, in your outer waking consciousness, the solutions will drop in your being, and things will get sorted out without having to do some human jojo left and right for which you don't know what the outcome will be. So when you are not sure what physical action will result into, you can pray to God for the two of you to sit before God in spirit for the resolution of that matter by the will of God. You are not going to pray that a person should be killed, please. That is not what I said. You are asking God that you want the two of you or whoever are involved to come before Him for the redress of this matter, and God will use that mechanism also to deal in. But please, we all know prayer is powerful, but I can tell you that there is no point waiting for the angel to come and carry a bucket of water for you to go and bath, when you can just simply walk to the bucket and carry the water and go and bath. Because there's a lot of energy involved in making that divine intervention in this physical plane. So about the leakage of elders, I will go and read Titus, and then we'll discuss that further from there. At this point, permit me to switch to the local language, and then we will come back to read. Atie for Poto Kasa Bebrebe Amakai Mame Nhwe se na meka no aka kasa mkakra na musumanya ochefa ewom. Na de omni se da pia etwe mu ye tuaso ya bobo kakra fa osofo omo senia omo se bibi ha omo ankasa senia ombetu hu anomo afa no onu hu na ye de ya bobo kakra na ye esua de no you can say and here say also for atumi hu say sabre mihia moa na eye den na so for atumi hu say sabre mihia moa ye nipa ane chase ye sunsun also for ni nkita hodo titio na ene nyame ntem na ewo ono ntina oye dantem ema nyame na nebanom nanso no krese enye mre bia na wadwen ewo nsunsum afa bebre ne ba benum tumi sisi a etwen ebra from kakra ye be kan se wa hwe ase unyame ntem eto sin kakra sa bre no ansa obesa ma wo so no na ehia se usa eye sunsum juma kakra ansa na wa asa afro esuro na sa bre nso ehia se wona wo nchen susu omutumi eboa empaibo mu na se omo amboa nso dia na etwe se o se utu hwan anamo na utumi share na bra won reconnect enya sa nya wuchefa ewo nyame afa dodo no saa no niema binom wo ho a ebe hia se unyonko anase nipa eboa na musom na zekoban se obepe obi na oni na akasa oho na ahweyie eno ewo o se nya ahweyie woni pa oni niko ekasa na so obi na ebe awu so for na nkasa mpopo na se obeka na asem echirewa se ne obe so sa asem no mu ehu hia pa sa nso na se wosusu udi wasem eko to obi nche na oma wadwene a ehu hia pa se nya entubuase ede hwehwe obi a so odi asem no kotu no ho a empie abontin ansa na wankasa mpo wafi nipa no ho epie na ebeye pa se ekoba no sample se ube hia ube hwehwe sa adwentwe na ebeye pa se odi beye obi asem ho mfato ho a ubeyi wankasa ho afim sene ebeye a asem a woka no ukano kasa nipa no ontumi ho se wankasa ho asem na woka no na oche na adwea na onsusu wafa bi efimu nti ehia pa se yenya ahweye wo nipa ori ne bekasa eno ho sanso na sa obi nsusu beka na asem hwewa ehia se ori ahweye pa se ne obekura sa asem no enya ade ase se ori epie se ko ba no se obesua ade odi beche ade bimpo a se obebo sa ade no poti ho a so a tore bia ebe hia se nipa na odi asem no beto wo no otumi ma okwan se saadi utumi ede kotre utumi kira ade ewo ho ansana utumi tu sa anamono eyi ewo kwan paso ye beko wenum kakra at the next level because bra wo ye preaching susu no wo preaching no how ewo wo asafo mu no or share o hwe answer na wa preach because we preach no ekoso omo problem nti ye be hwe se ne a ye de ye be ye we no nyina a emfa o how bia embra efise obi edi na asem abetu wo nchen a be kwakọ ye se onu ho asem na wo kọ eka na ye ka se ane se bia wa asem betu ebin eko obi nchen se na nipa no be kura asem no ehu hia pa na ono ntina se koba no se ebe hia se asore mpedifo nsem binum oho a ese se munyina mutina se eto adwen na se mba ko ye cha nhyem no ewie no munya mfi ho mpo no na opini baako afa telephone e de asem no ato abonten mpo dada ono na ye mami baako ebisa ne ho asem last week se aso se ba no se ye yi sampani for se so for no mpo na ye yi a ye nya hwehwem kakra ansa na ye yi omo ana because na omo di omo asem eto abonten no ye asifem kakra na ono na me se ani Apostle Paul awan bantem wodi nhihye bi anasa echechre bi ema Titus ɛwɔ Bible mu. Wokɔ Titus eti baako. Nsɛm binom ɛwɔ hɔ a mefe sɛ yɛtie a ɛbɛ ɛboa yɛn. Na mɛkan no brɔfo na mabɔ no tɔfa ɛwɔ twi kasa no mu kakra na ya ahwɛ. Listeners, at this point I want us to look at the text in the book of Titus chapter 1. Titus chapter 1. There's a text in there, and we're looking at that as against the provision that Paul made or advised Titus in the matter of picking leaders or elders in the congregation. So I'll read that in English, and for my listeners in Twi, I'll give a summary of the text. So let's listen to what we have in Titus chapter 1. Paul, a servant of God and an apostle of Jesus Christ, according to the faith of God's elect and the acknowledging of the truth which is after godliness, in hope of eternal life, which God, that cannot lie, promised before the world began, but has in due times manifested his word through preaching, which is committed unto me according to the commandment of God our Savior, to Titus, mine own son after the common faith, grace, mercy, and peace from God the Father and the Lord Jesus Christ our Savior. For this cause left I thee in Crete, that thou shouldest set in order the things that are wanting, and ordain elders in every city, as I had appointed thee. If any be blameless, the husband of one wife, having faithful children, not accused of riot or unruly. For a bishop must be blameless, as a steward of God, not self-willed, not soon angry, not given to wine, no striker, not given to filthy lucre, but a lover of hospitality, a lover of good men, sober, just, holy, temperate, holding fast the faithful word as he had been taught, that he may be able by sound doctrine both to exhort and to convince the gainsayers. For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision, whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not, for filthy lucre's sake. One of themselves, even a prophet of their own, said, the Christians are always liars, evil beasts, slow bellies. This witness is true, wherefore rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in the faith, not giving heed to Jewish fables and commandments of men that turn from the truth. Unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure, but even their mind and conscience is defiled. They profess that they know God, but in works they deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good word reprobate. This is Titus chapter 1. And I take these few lines of want to point you up to verse 9 to 11. 9 to 11 says, holding fast the faithful word as he had been taught, that he may be able by sound doctrine both to exhort and to convince the gainsayers. For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision, whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things which they ought not, for filthy lucre's sake. Some people's mouth runs too much, and we got to find a way of stopping that running mouth. And Paul says he set himself off from Crete because, having given training to Titus, he wants him to see to it that he has put things in order for the governance or the management of his place, his congregation, and that things should be put in the right order. Things should be put in the right order. They should choose elders, and he's made provision for the qualities they should look for in choosing the elders. Above all this, it is expected that these elders must be responsible people. They must be responsible people. And they must know the word, and therefore know when to help those who are falling apart, and more so also know when to stamp your authority and rebuke the gainsayers. Without knowing the word, without knowing the message, without knowing what the teaching is about, you cannot stamp your foot and say, no way, this cannot go on this way, when the person is becoming recalcitrant. You must know the word to do that. So, in knowing the word, in knowing what the church stands for, as an elder in the church, you are expected to stand by the principles of your organization and chastise and rebuke as may be needed. It is not a matter of going to gossip when you have sat at an inner caucus to discuss a critical issue and you have tossed the thing out there. Like I said, at the end of the day, the trouble will fall on the head of the pastor. Because being a religious organization, the pastor is the head. All the elders, whatever they go and do, if they fail to do the right thing, it will fall due on the head of the pastor. So, Paul admonishes Titus to take precaution in setting elders over the various places. In every city, he must appoint these people into a service. And it lists out the characteristics of these people. So, friends, if our elders are chosen as church elders, and any of them happen to be okra-mouthed, then we are in trouble, and a bitter one. Because when what is supposed to be discussed in caucus spills out, the pastor may not have deliberately decided to go and gossip, but is solving a problem that requires the elders to participate. But the elders have failed the pastor by going out there. Yes, we will say, Pastor, it is your job to pray and know who is who in there. But the point is, if the church by themselves come and appoint elders for you, that these are the elders you are going to work with, and you, the pastor, you go and say, I don't like this elder, another trouble has started. Another trouble has started. So, as we are looking at all these things, we should also be thinking of how we are going to help our pastors to sail safely through all this. And therefore, dear Paul Atro Amatitus, and he said, Ane, ono Titus, ono Paul, or training hook akra, sene ebeya ono Titus chechira wanya no obesom anasa obegina so na odi atutu niema binum yie ewo na asafo no emo afise ehia se onya mpenimfo a mobadida enkuokuo no ano na bra okofa mpenimfo a mobadida sa nkonko no ano no nso asafo no ano no o se ohwe se onya nipa omuhu eti anase omuwo suban binum se meyire mi hu kakra na maka bia o si nipa bibia ense ewo ne hu asem bia ensi ni so a obi beka hu asem obi a owo eyiri baako obi a oni manum omu gina pintin ewo asafo no mu ena asem pano emu na sauka ya etida so for na se bishop a enya ade a esese nsem esinsen wukon ho afise uye nyame akwa ema ne emanum na enya wupe na esese odi yejuma enya ade a esese ubu efu anase se uye niema a se nia ubenya ewo bi nchenti no na uye niema ense emfata na ehia pa se utumi nya ntubuase ahobrase na trini eda wakwemu ena uyo obi nsusu a ubu enfu entemtem wenum ni nyina ya ade a osese utumi esom na ose unim asem no wona wo fa omo no omo ho nim asem no tro konkro no omo nim nipa na omnyanti ase se ne eya se hia se ometi obifu a omenya asem na agira so e de atu nipa no efo na se koban se obi ka nsem a ensen fata nsusu dia na omotumi hu se ne a ombeya ombe satra omadwen na ensusu no se ko hia se obi ewo gina bia bi a ensen fata a ehia se utianu a se wo sa enimdie no a odubetimi atia nipa no efise unnim se ne agidie asem no etie asem pa no unnim se ne etie nti utumi gina asem pa no so na wudi atia nipa no se ne eya obe sakra na adwen na say brother say rebuke them sharply na che say utia nipa na hwe wachi akodo mpempeso a o say udi unan sifam na o catch nipa say debi sadi way ensese ekono say na se wonnim asem no na wonni gidie mapanso so a wontumi ye saade we nti nipa ombeye penifo ewa asorem a ombeboa sofo nankasa nsusu ka ho se ombetumi aye adwuma no mana aye yie de a ene chese esese omo omnim asem no na omo didie nsusu agina pintin se ne ya se nsem bi koso a enya ombetumi agina ho aka se asem we die yempene manu koso because enye sana asese etie na meya nkofa obi se oye pini ewa sorry na nipa no osofo se asembia ba ahia asafo no se mpenifo efa ho adwen na ekoshiawa na udie wati praka wakodu krom ena u kan nsem no wo ya osofo na wa ha no because onu na order asori na no osofo onu na wa ha no na de emese bisan se koban sanso a eye de na asofo gine hu film because ni power ko kan asem no eni ni awatie ena nsem a mokika wa akire no ebia obia ntumi nya kokodro emba sofo ho emba bisan sofo na asem we eba no sen emma sofo enya ne ho enyi na no nti koban saade a osofo onye ɛna asɔfo nso so oni kwan a ɔde ɔbɛyɛ yi ne ho afi saa asɛm na ebia na ɔno mpo no onim sɛ obi di asɛm yi a ɛyɛ asafo asɛm a ɛnya sɛ mpanyinfoɔ ɛtena ho no onim mpo sɛ akɔdo baabi na yɛde twitwa na akyi nti wenum no nyinaa yɛ ade a ɔwɔ sɛ yɛ ɛhwɛ no yie ɛna Titus Paul atwerɛ ama Titus sɛ ɔwɔ sɛ ɔhwɛ na ɔyi mpanyinfoɔ na bra ɔyi mpanyinfoɔ sɛ ɔmbɛhwɛ asafo no susu no ɔwɔ sɛ ɔnya ahwehwɛ sɛ ɔbɛnya nkurɔfoɔ a ano nipa a ɔmo gyinabea pintin ɛwɔ asafo no mu ɛwɔ gyidie mu a ɔmo nneɛm asɛm no a ɔmo wɔ abadae a ɔmo wɔ ntoboaseɛ a ɔmo nkɔyɛ ɔmo ano katikati ɛnkɔfa asɛm biara ɛmbra. So listeners, Paul admonishing Titus says, "For this cause left I thee in Crete, that thou shouldest set in order the things that are wanting." This is saying things that are wanting, which means there are certain things that are not right, or there are certain things that need to be done, and he's telling Titus to get them sorted out. And the interesting part here for me is the fact that Paul said, "For this cause left I thee in Crete." I am putting you there in Crete to sort this thing out. Because Titus has received a certain training, and therefore is required at this point in time to use what he has learned to organize elders in place at the various cities. And Paul set out the qualities that he should look out for in picking up these elders. And I'm stressing on the fact that these elders must be well planted in the faith that they are practicing, know the word, and therefore know when to say no. This cannot happen, or this cannot go on. And they would have been saying that based on the knowledge of the word and the faith that they are practicing, but not speaking just because you want to please somebody, or you are speaking because you have something to gain from someone. That is not the case. So listeners, I will pause shortly because I believe there are contributions that you want to put across so we can get it through. So, yes. Yeah. Yes.
Futuo bɛn na ɛwɔ mo na ɔmo no ɛkwan bɛn so na wɔ so ɔmo kra ɔmo ho ɛsan sɛ saa nkɔfoɔ no so the confusion bebree ba o.
I just yes, you have said right. Elias walked with Elijah, and he walked with him in faith and received training. And Elisha eventually got his double mantle. The easiest thing to say is that before you can be effective in pastoring, a certain level of seclusion or isolation is needed. Not cut off, but you need to be cautious as to who you call your friend. You may think that this person is loyal to you and at a human level will be able to discuss, you can discuss certain things. Somebody's advice is that be careful what you tell your friend, no matter how bosom the friend is, because a day will come when anything happens between the two of you. All the things that you have told him, he will go and use them against you. Not because you're a pastor, but this is general. So you got to be careful what you say to a person. The pastor has somebody that he moves around. If he just calls him simply a friend, then you must know that if people come to you for counseling, it has nothing to do with friend. Yes, I talked about our human nature. Human nature meaning that at a certain time you might have dropped a bit from your connectivity with God and certain things battle you. In fact, there can be issues that will come up and your head will be rolling left and right and no one knows what you are, wailing under. Then you may find yourself risking to talk to somebody. That is where the caution comes out. Be careful who you talk to in those times. Don't just say because he is my friend. You got to be mindful that if this person should go out and say anything about this thing, trouble. So in that wise, it will be better for you to keep quiet and send your message, your cry to your God and get a response from God. No matter how long it takes, you are safer there than speaking to a fellow human being who you cannot guarantee what he is going to do with what you are told him. I just said that is what I have to submit on this matter.
Okay.
So at this point, I would like to open the phone lines.
Okay. All right, phone bit me afre na monso ma bembi 0240-358-182 0240-358-182 0240-358-182 0240-358-182 and if it's 0533 1000 66 0533 100066 0533 100066 0533 100066. Reverend, does it mean say as of before I was some more secretive and
it's confidentiality. If somebody comes to tell you something, you see when you say secret, that connotes a different thing. It's confidentiality. Security is about confidentiality. So you need to be, somebody has come to tell you something. It is for you, between you and the person.
Okay, Reverend Yamfa Wewa. Hello. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. Ma onisu kakra maya. We didn't say enough refrain.
My name is Apostle. I'm calling from our city, Accra.
Okay.
Please, I just want to say that although the God of Israel, the beloved Son Jesus Christ said, "We come one offended you 7 times, you should forgive the person the same." But if someone offended me and I have forgiven the person, and so the person is trying to finish me, should I sit there for the person to finish me? Or I should leave the person to the God of Israel to jail against the person?
I finish you.
What do you mean by finishing you?
Like maybe the person wanted to kill me, and I have seen it. We have sat down, we have settled the matter completely, and so the person is not okay. So the person is trying to sit down for the person to do it, or I should leave everything to the God of Israel so that He will do everything for me. I should do it to the person.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I've heard your submission. If somebody is threatening you that much, please, the state is there. The state has made provision for your security in case somebody is threatening you. So you can approach the state, the police, for law enforcement so that the law will take its course. If somebody is doing you and you have tried to forgive, and the person continues to do it, that is where in titles is talking about sharp rebuke. Mm-hmm. There must be a point at which somebody with authority will bare his teeth and tell this person, no way. No way. And the person must be that authoritative to say no way. And for the person at the other side to know that there's an authority or there is rule and law in the land.
Okay.
So if somebody come here, I'll kill you. You don't just sit down there and be looking in the sky and say, come and kill me, let's see. You have taken steps. The person will not change. The law enforcement agencies are there. There's a point at which family will work up to. When it goes beyond family, you take it to the state.
Now, Reverend, Abiana, I say, spiritual matters, Yankao police station, and also.
If the person comes and says, I'll kill you, why are you saying it is spiritual matter? I know they say spiritual matter doesn't go to court. I've heard something like that. Whether it is law or not, I've heard it before. But I'm asking the question that somebody comes saying, I'll kill you. Why do you begin by ascribing it to spiritual killing? That's my first question. He says, I'll kill you. Whether he's carrying cutlass or gun, you don't know. Yeah, he says, I'll kill you. You go and report to the police that this person is threatening my life. But if you should sit down and say, he is threatening me spiritually, then all I can say, you to go to the spirit. Go to your God.
Okay.
Call the person before the host of heaven so that all of you will sit and deal with the matter so that the will of God will prevail. That is the other side of it.
All right, also wait to my friend 0240-358-182. 0240-358-182. 0240-358-182. Yesua de Gidia yebenya ewo ya sofo fuom. Ena sofo nso se dia wo bekura wo ho se de beya obi beka na asem ekirewa unko gina sorry dem emfa nko prichi anasa umma obi entibi se de beya ebetumi abeka ya asem e de akirewo Eruna Reverend aboboswa yesunsua nyama bebre mo a mo ben sofo no mpo no se dia mo nso mo bekura mo ho a asoi no mu asem enkoda bonten ne nyina Reverend ene ya fe mo ba bepim ha sei ena se ye bie phone line no sofo be preaching ni ade egu obi aware obi nso eja sorry ade it is sofo die no emu yedu ensem bebre na wom fede but ensem bebre ewom the Reverend so abekike bia kire yen wa be kire yen kwan ye be fa so any how ye betumi ekurakura ya sofo no ye my common di omo ni ade nyina Reverend akire yen wa ha sei obetumi afre 0240-358-182 0240-358-182 0240-358-182 0240-358-182 182 and I say 0533 1000 66 0533 1000 66 0533 1000 66. Adeɛ baako ni sɛ Reverend ɔmo bɛn sɔfo bebree no nso no sɛ sɔfo no bɛkɔ so mmɔ a egyina saa nkɔfo no so because wobɛhu sɛ sɔfo bi ne ba nantia ne ba ne te no ho ana ensɛm a ɔprugu hɔ no ano anamo ne sɛ ɔkɔprugu hɔ kɛkɛ ɔno san de abɛto internet so.
Yes, ɔno ntina meka sɛ here ahweye. This program has brought up a lot, and I'm hoping that we all ministers are paying attention. Those of us who didn't know before or have never heard of these things before and we are hearing them now, we need to make some changes in our lives. And what I see as the great challenge will be, as you are talking about people you move around with, sometimes you feel like, I want to separate myself. But you have been in a certain kind of interaction with these people for all this while. And therefore, cutting yourself off becomes a challenge.
Scary.
Because somebody will think, wabaso. But that is not the case. You need a certain space between you yourself and the congregation for some air to blow through. But at the same time also, you must make yourself approachable. Okay? So, approachable, the person may come to you and raising some issues. Sometimes you have to be in the world but not of the world.
You're in church room, in the world but not of the world.
Yes, you be in the world but not of the world. Somebody may come to you with a certain interaction, which you realize that this interaction is not something that I want to be part of. Okay?
Okay.
You want to find a way of disposing of that thing without causing undue harm or havoc to that person. Chances are that you may be thinking of offending the person or hurting the person emotionally. But if you remind yourself that at the end of the day, you have a responsibility, you are accountable, then in Titus we are told that you must know when to rebuke and rebuke sharply. You must know when to say no. You cannot proceed this way. Somebody may want to interact with you on a certain subject matter, which you feel that, look, this matter that you are bringing and the manner in which you are bringing, it is not appropriate to interact with me as your head in the manner in which you are raising this topic. And maybe even where you are raising the topic, it is not appropriate. So please, this is not the place for this. The person may get offended, but the truth is, it is better for you to save your head. That conversation, no matter how good it is, that may not be the place for it. So you got to be able to draw that fair, strict line. And you are doing this based on the faith you are practicing. The word as you know it. That is what you are practicing. The principle you are giving out there. That is why Titus says, you must know when to rebuke. You must know when to rebuke. Yes, I agree. What I'm saying doesn't come that easily as I'm saying it. Because like I said, you have been interacting with people that closely for a very long time. Worse off, if you happen to have grown in the same place with the same people all over the years and become a suffer. The thinking is that, I said, wait, I said, no. Is this not the carpenter's son?
Yeah.
Is this not the carpenter's son? But there's a requirement for you as a minister, we'll take that level again later on. There's a requirement for you as a minister, even for your family. The statement is that your family must change their approach to you once you have become a pastor.
Sure.
Your family must recognize that this person is now a reverend minister or a pastor or whatever connotation you're going to give it.
Yeah.
They must respect that. So the people around you must respect that. Okay? Adjuster, when I was ordained, an elder in the church said to me, you've got to stop some of your jokes with the people. Okay? And that's, I find, a very good advice, because people may take you for granted.
Sure.
But you have a mantle that you carry. And it's a mantle of authority and of God's energy. When it is messed up, it is upon your head. You'll be held responsible by God for the misuse of that energy.
Okay, Reverend, that was a meaning as of funny the muti. Omuti pa omuti ba enyaka omufre nanka omunso echire omadwen emayen 0240358182 0240358182. And a Reverend at times you see who ya sofo no modaya no so omo counselors. Nti yenya ware asem a yede kɔ yenya adwuma asem yede kɔ yenya we yene kɔ obehu sa ware asem ne bi na ode kwa kɔma osofo na fe di akogu aware ne kura.
Well, me ho se ni ameye ono ano.
Okay, mama fa we wa hana. Hello. Oh, DJ Amingo. Ojodo.
How am you there? Once you be here, my top. Reverend come on with them. They don't come on with some bottle. I mean, I'm in one jet. Or come on with some or your property. I can't call it to obey at the account. I'm your Mantipia. I'm young. Michelle Rebecca.
Yeah, Jodo.
But truly, or suffer. I'm preparing to also confusion the same. Oh, you're suffer or conform. I want to do.
Okay.
And the faith you are practicing, the teachings you are giving in your church, abhors or frowns on certain things. So when they are happening, yes, there is a compassion that you should have and be able to guide and counsel the people the way it should. And if you are giving counsel, counseling is not a command. Counseling at best only helps you as a counselor, the person who will come for counseling, to see various sides to the coin that you have brought up. Help you to see it. The decision as to how to go is your responsibility. How to go should not be the responsibility of the counselor. Otherwise, then the counselor has become a dictator in your life. So the counselor only tells you this, look at this, have you looked at this, what do you think about this one, if you have you considered this, and so on and so forth. You should reflect on it and figure out which one suits you. If you leave the counselor and you go and break your marriage, Unless you want to come and say that it is the counselor who said I should go and divorce. If the counselor didn't say go and divorce, then you cannot blame the counselor if he gave you, the chance to see various perspectives of the issue before you. It is possible that the person, even before going to the counselor, has already made up his mind as to how he intends to go.
Okay.
So all that he's sitting there and the counselor talking about, it passes this ear and gets out of that because he has already made up his mind that this is the way he's going to go. And if you have made up your mind that this is the way you want to go, then you must as well not have come to the pastor at all for any counseling. So please, if you should go for counseling and the counseling ends up in your break of marriage, then I think you should also be asking yourself, did you go there and state really what the issues are?
Okay.
Or you left things hidden? What you told me is what I'll counsel you on. If you have things hidden that I don't know about, I'm sorry, I can't do anything about it. And even if I'm spiritually seeing your problem and you decide not to lay it on it is because you don't want me to deal with it.
Yeah.
I can't force to go and deal with a problem you don't want me to deal with.
Okay.
So you know your problem. You see, that is why the Archangel will say that whether you prayed our Father one time or you prayed our Father 100 times, they can't tell you. Because it is you who is having your problem. And it is you who know the weight of your problem.
Okay.
So knowing the weight of your problem, you can tell yourself whether you are going to do 10 days fast or whether you are going to 100 days fast. It is you who know the problem you have, which you want to take away.
All right. Reverend, our time has run out.
Right. Thank you very much, listeners. This is where time permitted us to reach. My number is 020
020
812 50 78
78
020
020
812 50 78
78.
Church Universal and Triumphant. Our location is at Adenta SDA Junction near Mambido Kuno School. God willing, next week Sunday we will be around. Next week